Good morning. Another Friday. She's genade. Like a few days ago, I was still in Cape Town, and here I'm back in Gauteng, in Krugersdorp, and live with you this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to a fantastic show again today. So we'll again do the news with the FBI. David is with us this morning, David Kopp, and they're going to do some personal development with Norma. Then I'm going to present the featured topic this morning, where I'm going to talk a little bit about staying connected, the importance of that, and a whole host of other things that will give you some practical ideas of how you can stay connected. So we'll understand why, but then also the how and the what. So very important that we do that. Then, then we'll wrap up. I'm collapsing the bonus segment and the wrap up all into one. I'm going to share a couple of things there with you, and really excited for a busy morning this morning. So ready to go. I hope we've got some people saying good morning this morning, which I'm not seeing anyone saying good morning yet, which is okay. That's no problem. I must say, this week that has passed, we have really grown the subscriber base. So we've gone, I think, from about 760 to 770. So another 10 new subscribers. So thank you very much. If you're watching this recording, I deeply appreciate it. I can see that most of the views are coming from watching the recording, and quite quickly during the day, which is amazing. I really enjoy when I see people are still watching it. You know, even if you can't make it at 7 o'clock in the morning, that's all fine. And we're still performing at our best and making sure that when you watch this recording, it's an enjoyable experience. So with that, I'm going to get us going. And what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the news. And as I said this morning, we have David Kopp from the FBI to do this. So let's go to the news studio.
Good morning, everyone. And in your 7 o'clock news this fine Friday morning, we are talking about the 28th of February 2021, approaching pretty soon. And why is that an important date? Well, the tax bill has now become an act on the 21st of January, which means that the concept of immigration is changing from a tax perspective. We know that immigration as a topic is actually going to be pulled out as it goes along, and what they've started with is changing the way that if you have got a retirement annuity or a pension or provident preservation fund and want to withdraw on immigration from the 28th of February 2021, you will no longer be able to withdraw unless you can prove that you have ceased to be a tax resident and you have not been a tax resident for an uninterrupted period of 3 years. So again, this is an opportunity to connect with any of your clients who may be overseas and still have retirement annuities in South Africa, and to speak to them about the fact of, they've got an option now that if they have their immigration application in before the 28th of February 2021, and it is processed by the Reserve Bank by the 28th of February 2022, they will still be able to withdraw under the old rules. Otherwise, they will have to prove uninterrupted non-tax residency for a 3-year period. Then another significant date is the 1st of March 2021, which means that the 1st of March 2015 has actually now finally arrived. So T-Day, when it comes to provident funds, is here. So any member any member of a provident fund, any contributions after the 1st of March 2021 will now be subject to annuitization. So they will have to review it in exactly the same rules as pension funds, and will only be able to take 1/3 of their contributions after the 1st of March 2021 in cash. Obviously, all the benefits before the 1st of March 2021 will be vested. So this is, again, an opportunity for you to review your client files. So not only from a communication viewpoint about the changes, but also review the financial plan. So any clients who have a provident fund, what was the discussion around the amount that they were going to annuitize? Were they planning to take everything in a lump sum? If so, it's an opportunity for a review. And then lastly in the segment, the breaking news last night, President Ramaphosa addressed the nation in his State of the Nation address. And some key important factors there is the government has got 4 focus areas for the next year, for 2021. And the first most important one is combating COVID-19 and making sure that we can combat that. Also, a high priority is to speed up the economy, which has been lagging. He alluded to a 6% drop in the economy last year in the third quarter, and there's a real focus on government to speed up the economy. Also, our unemployment is sitting at 30.8%, or the official rate. And during the COVID lockdown, we've lost about 1.7 million jobs. So there's a huge focus on government in getting jobs right. And then the last area of focus for 2021 for government is to ensure that they fight corruption, because there's acknowledgement that with corruption, they will not be able to achieve these goals. So thank you very much for the brief news headlines. And Francois, back to you in the studio.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, David. Deeply appreciate it. I think it's very insightful. You know, I don't know, it's sometimes it feels, and I'm not a pessimist, I'm very hopeful and I'm very optimistic just by nature. And I don't know if it's because I'm from the Free State, but that is really like just how I am. You know, but sometimes you hear people saying the same things over and over and over again, and we need to focus. We know what we need to focus on. The question is, what are we doing about it? And, you know, how are we all pulling together to make sure that we jump-starting the economy and doing all those good things? Like, we know what needs to be done. Like, you just look around you and you sort of know what needs to be done. It's whether, you know, I was listening to David on Zara the other day, and that's something I can tell people to go and watch as well. So if you want to, remember David was on the show talking about he's from the Center for Risk Analysis, and he was speaking to Frans Cronje the other day about a poll and a survey that they did to see about the ANC support and where it's coming from and what's happening. And they have some phenomenal insights into that. And now they have the data. There were some things that they've been saying, but now they have the data to sort of support that as well. You know, and the sad thing is that at the end of the day, this becomes a political game instead of what is best for the country and what's best for the people. It's how do we stay in power? And that's where the political will sort of outshines or outpowers some of the other things that we know should be done. But those are some of the concerns that I have in terms of that, you know. So it's great. I missed the sonar last night, so I didn't even know it was happening last night because I've been in Cape Town, which is a different world, and then came back and so much to do. So yeah, but thank you very much, David. I deeply appreciate it. I think it was awesome, and I will see you guys back next week for another 5-minute news section.
Grant,
so thank you very much.
Enjoy the rest of the show, everybody.
Thank you very much. All right, so with that, we are ready for some personal development this morning. This is almost for me like, how do you, like, you know, remember that beat that body, beat boy? I think we must have a segment like that as well, where we just do some aerobics for 5 minutes as well, but this is for your brain and for your life. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Norma to have a chat with us this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and glad to be back today. Exciting to talk about the topic of today, which is how to get comfortable with discomfort. So I really think it's quite important for two reasons. Number one is that if we get comfortable with discomfort, it's going to put us in a position where we might take bigger risks and we might set bigger goals for ourselves. And then secondly, is if we can master this piece and work hard at getting good at discomfort, then our habits is going to be such a sort of a natural extension from dealing with the discomfort. So really, when we're setting goals, there's always something new that we need to do. So, and that obviously gives us a bit of a sense of discomfort and fear. And that's just basically because it's something that we've never done before, and we don't know that we can actually do it. We don't have sort of a track record that what we're doing is going to be working. So now when the brain picks up on that fear, it obviously always overreacts and wants to protect us because it thinks we're not safe. So now we have to go make meaning of this fear. And to our own detriment, we sometimes go on this path of giving it meaning that is really disempowering. So we would say something like, I feel this rejection, or I feel this failure because I'm not enough, or I think what I'm putting out there is not good enough, or I feel the fear that I might be failing. So instead of using that, let's rather use it to our advantage. So then we decide in advance what we are going to be doing when that comes up for us. So it would look something like, when I have this fear of rejection or I feel failure, the meaning I'm going to attach to it is that I maybe need to focus a bit more. I need to maybe look at other resources. I need to speak to people in the industry. So you can see how different it is. It's not necessarily getting away from the discomfort, but it's sort of managing it in a different way. So just an example, just to illustrate this point better, and this can really be used in any area of life. So if you feel in business, you're there, you don't have these thoughts, go and look at some other areas of life where this might be useful. Because it doesn't matter if you want to go on this health journey, you want to lose weight, in your relationships, this sort of tool can help you in every area. So ask yourself these following questions. So number one, first go and have a look at your goal. So if your goal is, for instance, let's use weight loss as an example. Secondly, then ask yourself, what is the negative emotion that I'm willing to experience in order to get to my goal? So if we use the weight loss, the emotions that I'm willing to experience would be, I might feel cravings. I might have the urge to eat something unhealthy. I might fail. I might not get the number on the scale. And then number three is whatever the emotion is that you felt in number two, take one of that and really just feel that emotion in the body. Because what we're trying to do now is to sort of build that muscle. So when the discomfort comes up, we sort of know what it feels like and we're getting that muscle strong. So when we want to use it in future, it is there and it is already strong. So just 3 or 4 things that I want you just to remember about what we've just said, just to wrap up, is number one is that nothing has meaning unless we give it meaning. So if we say that failure means I'm going to stop my business, I'm stopping I'm not continuing with my goal, then that's what your result's going to be. If you decide failure, for instance, is the best thing that's happened to me because it's taught me this and this lesson, then that's the way it's going to be. Number 2 is, what is the worst that can happen? So if I feel this rejection or I feel the failure, what is the worst that can happen? If I don't get the number on the scale or I didn't work out for a week, what is the worst that can happen? And I think sometimes in our heads it's so big, but once we ask ourselves that question, it's really makes it a lot smaller. And then just lastly is decide up front what meaning you are going to give it. So if we decide up front the meaning we're going to give it, when we're in that situation, we sort of already planned for it. Because a lot of times when we have those thoughts, it's really coupled with anxiety and stress, and we might not have the capacity to rationalize it. So if we decide up front that we're going to give it an empowering meaning, to say I need to focus, I need to look at alternatives, then it would really push us closer to our goal. Because sometimes we feel, I'm going to give up on my goal, and we might just be, the goal might just be on the other side. So hopefully this has given you something to work through and use this week. We'd love to hear your comments, so you can put something in the chat box. Hopefully you can use it this week, and excited to then be back for next week. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Norma. That was again some and I can share with you from some practical things this week. Where this came from is that I also actually spoke to Norma. I said to her, you know what? It's been 2 weeks. 2.5 weeks yesterday that I haven't gotten on a bicycle. I haven't exercised. I haven't done anything. And I've been overeating like mad. And it's, I think on the one hand, because my youngest daughter went to Cape Town to go and study there. And on the other hand, there's so much going on and there's a lot of pressure at the moment. So the easiest thing is to go with the things that, does not create discomfort. But the funny thing was that it did result in discomfort at the end of the day. And we sort of have a similar discussion, I think it was on Wednesday, on Tuesday actually. And the one thing was yesterday when I got back on the bicycle yesterday afternoon, I was so like, I'm not looking forward to this. This is going to hurt. I'm afraid I'm not going to die. And eventually did the almost 9Ks and, over half an hour. Yes, I almost did. Well, I think I almost did die. But here I am, so still here. So it's making those decisions. And so these kind of things are very powerful when you put it into practice. So Norma, thank you very, very much for that. All right, so with that, let's continue. Let's let me just first see if there are some comments. Just a lot of people saying good morning to each and every single one of you. Thank you for joining us. And also, just so if you don't know, we also publish the audio, the unedited raw audio from the show. So exactly what you're hearing right now, we also publish on the PROpulsion podcast. So it's available there. We published last week's episode, so it's usually within a day after the show, because we don't have to edit or anything. It's very easy. We just get it. We need to set it up and write all the copy and all of that for that. But it is then available on all the platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, you name it, you will find it there. So please go and subscribe to the podcast. If you also want to listen to this while running or just being on a walk or anything like that, you're more than welcome to do that. Mostly you'll be able to follow what we are saying. But with that, let's get into today's topic. All right, so today we're going to talk about staying connected. And where did this come from? Because, if we say, well, staying connected, this all sort of came to me while I was driving down to Cape Town. It's the first time in my life that I've driven down to Cape Town, all the way from Krugersdorp, and from anywhere, to be frank. I always fly down to Cape Town, and I've never been further down than Colesberg. So that was quite an experience. And I was taking my daughter's car down for her. As I said, she started studying there. And the beauty about this is that I had so much time to just think, so much time to just reflect, so much time to go back in time, to come back, to sort of look a little bit into the future, just sort of notice and appreciate everything that was going on around me. And I was completely alone in the car. It was just me and eventually some country music. First, it was an audiobook. I was listening to Douglas Kruger. So he was accompanying me. And then when I got to Colesberg, I thought, okay, now I've had enough of audiobooks. So let me put on some country music. And, it's amazing when you do this and you just spend time by yourself and you change the environment in which you're in, like how thoughts come to you and the things that you start thinking about. So, and that's not what this morning is about, but that is sort of where I got to this whole, how do we stay connected? Why do I sometimes feel so alone? Why do I sometimes feel like, wow, this amazing energy? And I want to start off by talking about, if we say staying connected, who do we want to stay connected to? Or what are we trying to stay connected to? And there's, just like you've got the balance wheel of life with different areas in your life that you need to give attention to, there's all these things that we need to consider and say, well, what is important to me and who do I need and want to stay connected to? What do I need from a connection? Because a connection is a two-way street, right? So that's very important. So if I think about, first off, it's like, how do I stay connected with myself? How do I stay in tune with who Francois is? How do I stay in tune with, how do you stay in tune with who you are? So it's about ourselves and not losing who we are. Often you will hear people say that, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I feel lost. It feels like I'm just drifting from day to day to day. And it shouldn't be like that. But then you can go on this exciting journey and try a million different things just to figure out exactly what it is that you are supposed to be doing. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem often is not that it's more a case of that we don't know where to start. Okay, but that's a topic for a whole different day. Then also staying connected to our family. And here, I guess there are different levels of family. You have your spouse and your children, and if you have those, and then obviously you have your immediate family and your extended family, and things like that. And we tend to, as they go further away from us, maybe to spend less time, and we need to focus on our spouses and our children, our immediate family that we live with. So those are very important. Then there's also friends, we need to stay connected to our friends. We need like different sort of energies. We need different things to discuss. We need different points of view in our lives. Because the problem is, the longer you're married, the more you start thinking like one another, the more you start talking like one another, the more you really become one. As the Bible says, you'll become one. And that does happen. I mean, it's true. I find that a lot, where I would think about something and then Jonita would say it. And that's the amazing thing, so the longer you do that. Then also our spirituality, and this means different things for different people, but that is really what is going on inside of us, whether we're connected to a greater power or not, and where we see, like, where is my life headed, and how does this all play a role in that? So we all have to believe in something. I think we've been put together like that we need to believe in something. We crave that. So that is very important, that we also stay connected to that, because when we find ourselves in a situation where things have changed dramatically and nothing is the way that we're used to it being, that you just fall into this, like, we forget about those. We're so busy changing, and we're so busy just, surviving, just busy not falling out of the race, that we sometimes neglect the spiritual side of things. So that's another thing that we need to stay connected to. Then our community, so yes, friends, family, they all form part of your community, but there's also the greater community in which we live, whether it's your suburb, whether it's your street, whether it is your city, your province, your country. We all belong to a community. And we get involved. Some people get involved a lot through church, some through charities and those. But there are these communities, and we definitely need to stay connected to them as well. Then more from a business perspective, obviously we need to stay connected with our clients, and often clients are like family, they are like friends, if we've been working with them for a long time. So very important that we stay connected to them as well and help them feel connected. So there's a two-way street. And then maybe not lastly, but lastly on my point here is also our business. We need to stay connected to our business. And when I talk about the business, I talk about everything from the vision and the mission to every single person that works in your business, that works with you in your business, that's building your business with you. Because often we maybe don't focus on them as much as we should be. We're not as connected to them as we think we are. And, that's that. And we always... I always share with people, like, I've got no control over what you do. I have no control over how you react. I can't change what you do or what you don't do. All I can do is focus on the things that I do. So often we feel like, but who's going to connect to me, and who's going to make time for me, and who's going to reach out to me and check in with me and make me feel better? It's not about that. When you're just the first person to take that first step and you just do it, you will just clearly feel and see what difference that makes, and you actually get a lot back, but I'll talk about that in a second. So those are the who's and the what's, that we want to stay connected to and that we should think about. And it's not necessary to stay connected to all of this. You should stay connected, depending on your energy and your time available and those kind of things, but also in order of importance for you, and that will be different for different people. But why? Why is it important to stay connected? And, once upon a time, long ago, it may be so long ago that it was the very first time a human being ever existed, is when Adam was created. And, everything was good. But then Adam very quickly became lonely. And, then Eve was created. And yes, that brought a whole lot of other problems and issues and stuff along. But suddenly there were two of them. And they could have a relationship, and they could talk, and they could share. And that's the important thing, So I believe that it's in our DNA that is what we are built for. We are not built to be alone or to go at things alone or not to worry about other people. Also, like maybe a stark contrast to that would be if I think about solitary confinement. When somebody's in prison, already they're taken out of society, but it's at least they're still amongst their peers, if you will. But then if they really do something that they shouldn't, well, at least in the movies I see that they are then put into solitary confinement, which means they take you completely out of the population. You are completely alone, often in a dark room, 100% alone for a long period of time, and how that screws up your mind, how it screws up everything, the anxiety that it creates, because you can't see anyone, you can't talk to anyone. It's just you and your thoughts. And that is the worst kind of punishment that anybody can get, apart from the death penalty, I would suppose. So that's, those are just two sort of examples that I could think about to say, well, you know what, I think we are built to connect. We are built to care. It's not that we are built to be connected with. We're not built to be cared for. We are actually built to connect with someone else. We are built to care for someone else. That is what we are built for. We are built to belong to something. We are not meant to be sitting alone at home. And I know, yes, there are definitely human beings on this planet who prefer to be on their own, and they never leave the house and anything like that. And that is, for whatever reason that may be. But we're not built that way. Some people may tell themselves that we are built this way, but we're not. We are definitely meant to belong. We are meant and built to share our experiences, our knowledge, our opinions, our views, all of those things. We are built to share. We are meant to come together and share an experience. That is what we are meant for. And very importantly, we are built to contribute. If you just think about anything where you contributed to something, whether you got back something for it or not, doesn't matter. But how awesome does that feel? And that feeling of awesomeness that you did something that made something better, or someone's life better, or it created an opportunity for someone else, or it sorted out a problem for someone else. It's because we are built to do that we get that awesome feeling for that. And all of this stuff, to connect, to care, to belong, to share, to contribute, all of that, none of that we can do on our own. You can't connect just with yourself. You can, but not just with yourself. You can't just care about yourself. We can't belong to anything if we're on our own. We can't share with anybody anything if we do it on our own. We can't contribute if we just do it for ourselves. So we are meant to go out and do things in terms of that. But how? How do we then go about to stay connected? Well, like anything else in life, guess what? You need a plan. Very simple. You need a plan, and you need to be very clear about that, because you can't stay connected if you just get up in the morning and go to bed at night and you had no idea of what you were going to do or what you have to do to stay connected. So the important thing here is to be the one that takes the first step, but also to be very intentional in what you're doing. So that's how you do it. You take that first step. So one, you get the plan, and then you take that first step, and everything must be very intentional in the sense of it's got to be aimed at making sure that you connect with yourself, you connect with your family, you connect with your client, you connect with your business, with your staff. So it'll be very, very intentional. Then also, I think when it comes to this, is one thing that we need to consider in the plan is also different generations. Often we feel like if we send jokes to one another on WhatsApp, or we forward some funny jokes on voice, or you send a quick text or a meme or a GIF, which is these days very popular. Now I've connected. And for some people that may be cool. Oh, cool, Francois thought of me. But then there may be different generations, and maybe generations are not the right word to sort of use. The other day I heard about somebody saying, well, it was actually when the other day on Kate's launch for a community, where Emily and Rowan was saying that, people think because they're called next gen planners that they're only for the young financial advisor, or because it's called XY advisor, it's only for Gen X and Gen Y advisors. And it's not, it's a state of mind. It is like, I've known people who are over 70 who are very proficient with technology. They have actually taught themselves after the age of 60 to get proficient with technology. So it's not about, my grandfather I need to phone, okay, and then my brother I can just send a voice note to, and it's not about that. It is about considering how different generations in terms of, maybe technology, where we now have to have social distancing, but how do we connect with them in a way that would make sense to them, in a way that would be easy for them, in a way that they will enjoy. So those are the important things that we need to consider in this plan to decide. I'm going to give you some what you can do in order to connect, and I'll do that in a second. The other thing which is very important is that you have to be versatile and you have to be flexible and adaptable. So you can't just have one plan and one way of thinking that I'm just going to connect with people in this way. That will never work. You've got to be able to adapt to different people, their levels of, what they're comfortable with. And also, if you really know them well, you would know what makes them tick, So that's important as well. And then when you connect, and in your plan, you've got to think about, how can I make it all about the other person? It's not about me. It's about, how do I connect with that person, and what can I offer that person that would mean something to them? And then you'll be very much amazed about what you get back. Just, I'm not talking about somebody sending you something or the other person saying something nice to you or anything like that. The mere fact that you reached out and you could hear a difference in their voice, you could see the difference in their eyes. Maybe you get a thank you message later on, yes. But that feeling that you connected with someone is more than you can ever imagine that you're going to get back. So that's really what it's about. And that's why taking that first step is so important, and not just sitting back and saying, let's see who cares about me and who's going to send me a message today. So let's talk about what I can do, or what you can do, what we can do in order to connect with everybody and so forth. So some of these things are not necessarily focused on all of the aspects. It's just focused on certain things. The show is not long enough for me to go through a lot of ideas. So I'm just going to share about 5 of them with you, and then, maybe you can come up with some more stuff and share with us in the comments, or maybe afterwards even you can comment down below, or, send me a WhatsApp or an email. So first one, and this is going to shock you. I think one of the best ways to connect is to pick up the phone. I'm very prone to sending voice notes. I'm very prone to recording a quick little video and sending that. But nothing makes a difference like somebody actually picking up the phone and calling. And I must also be honest, calling with WhatsApp or calling with something that's data-driven is not my favorite way of calling. I would just rather do a normal phone call using the proper phone call channels. And the reason for that is just that sometimes, people, often people would phone me on WhatsApp, and then I would say, oh, there's a missed call, but my phone doesn't even ring. And I don't know why. I still can't figure it out because everything is set to on, but it doesn't. So I miss those calls. The other thing is that often with data, depending on that person's connection, it can't be. No, it's the same with cell phones. Maybe the connection is not that great, so you can't really connect. But it is important that we connect with them in this manner. So picking up the phone and literally speaking to somebody in real time. It's not a back and forth of text messages. It's not a back and forth of voice notes. It is a real-time conversation where you can adjust to the way that person responds, and they can then connect with you in that way. Then the second way is also to use video. And I've said this many times before, is that what I love most about video is the fact that we can look each other in the eye, although it is through a camera lens. There is a way you can see my facial expressions. You can see my eyes. You can see my energy. If I don't sound that energetic, maybe my movements and everything will make a difference as well. And there are sort of 2 ways that we can use video. It's in a live fashion, and I'm not talking about my show, although that is also a way. But if you go live, you could be a WhatsApp video call, a FaceTime, or whatever other methods you use, even Messenger. You can do it via that as a live video call, but see the other person when you are talking to them, which is actually one level up from a phone call. Right? But I think a phone call has some nostalgia to it, maybe. And it's awesome. And maybe I'm phoning you and you haven't showered yet, so no, you don't want to pick up my call because I'm going to see that you haven't showered yet, which is the thing. So, and on the other hand, what you can do is just short little recorded videos just to say, hey Peter, I was thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. You know what? I would really love to hear how you are. Been thinking about you all week. Let me know how it's going. And that would just leave Peter then a way to sort of get back to you via text or audio or whatever. But as you can see, I mean, a phone call, I think you make the effort to make them. Nobody's calling anymore. So that for me still has got the most value. And particularly in a world, I mean, obviously what you would love to do is take somebody for coffee or, take them for dinner or lunch or something. But unfortunately, we can't do that at the moment. Then another thing, and this is maybe something you can do to connect with yourself and even with your spirituality, and that is to fuel your creativity by taking up a hobby, or maybe by taking up an old hobby again, restarting that hobby. So you can either start with a new hobby, just go say, you know what, I always wanted to learn how to tie flies for fishing, or I've always wanted to learn to paint, or I always wanted to do these kind of things. Go do that. That is very, very good, specifically from your personal point of view. And also, you can involve your family. Maybe you and your spouse wants to do something creative. Maybe they enjoy building puzzles and you enjoy painting or something. So you can still do both of those things together, which means it brings you closer together. There's a sense of connectivity. We have something in common, but you also connect with yourself because you get a sense from something I've done. And I really love the process of learning or the result of what I've done, all of those. Then the other thing you can do, and this is what you have actually done, is to join an online community. And when we talk about, we have this need to belong, somebody sent a message to me the other day to say, you know what, that jingle for the show is going to be stuck in my memory for the rest of my life. And I will always think about lockdown. And he doesn't know whether that's a good or a bad thing. And that's cool. You know what? We used that jingle long before lockdown, since 2019. It's just that most people heard about this, when we started the show. But that's the thing. We need to, if we want to belong, you want to also converse with people who are sort of in the same thing as you, not necessarily in the same boat, in the same circumstances. But we're all in financial services. We're all building businesses. So whether you're working for a product provider, whether you're on your own, doesn't matter. We are building a business and we are all faced with similar challenges. Maybe not exactly the same, but similar. And we can learn from one another. We can come together to say, how are we going to fight this? There's a sharing of minds, there's sharing of ideas, there's wisdom that can be created in an online community. And if we're all like-minded people and we're all on the same mission, it becomes so much more powerful. So that is what this show has become, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So for everybody that pitches up every time for the show, that watches the recording, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. You don't know what that means. For me, it gave me a reason to show up consistently, which is what it's all about, but to see what it's created and how people have started talking to one another and how you got connected with one another. That is really the thing that blows my mind, and that is amazing, and I really want to build that more and more going forward. And then lastly, number 5 is to do acts of kindness. Random acts of kindness. You can do remote acts of kindness, whether you send somebody a gift box or you just maybe send them a gift voucher for a coffee, or I don't know, things like that. Maybe somebody needs a bit of help and you can help them in whatever way they need help with. But these random acts of kindness, or just sending them something that will say, I'm thinking of you. So that's definitely another way to do that as well. All right, so that's a lot said, and let's summarize what this was all about. So first of all, we must stay connected to all areas of our lives as much as possible, because that means that we not stay in control, but at least there's a sense that you're not lost. So very important. Then we are built to connect, to care, to belong, to share, and to contribute. So that is definitely something that is very important. Have a plan to stay connected, and then be practical and engage with other humans, because that is what we're built for, is to connect with one another. Cool beans. So that is sort of the main topic for this morning. I see I've got lots of people in the room this morning. Good morning to everybody. Thank you very much for joining. All right, so with that, let's do the wrap. And I'm going to share just one or two things with you, and then we are done for the day. So let's do it. All right. So there we go. Let me share with you. So very important is that the thing that I do want to share is talk a little bit about the launch of Ignite. As I said last time, we are ready to go, and I can confirm that everything is in place. All the systems are linked. Everything's working. So on Monday morning, we will launch Ignite for 2021. And I just want to quickly run through what we're going to do there again, just so that if you missed it last time, or just maybe you've got any questions. And also maybe just to share why Ignite, which is important for me from that point of view. So Ignite is something that we started back in 2019. Last year, I did not revamp it. I did not renew it. It just kept on running. And it was part of the plan for this year to revamp it and getting new content and getting new benefits and things like that. And now there's another layer coming on top of this, which is just going to explode the value for this, but that will only be available probably May or June. So really excited. Been having a lot of conversations around that. So this is really amazing value. And if you talk about joining an online community and people that are on the same mission as you, apart from being here in the show, this is a fantastic way to do that. So so let me just quickly, again, if you do join Ignite, this is initially built with the pure intention of giving you access to everything CPD that we offer for one simple fee. It's still the case, but I'm going to highlight the things that are new. So again, you get full access to all our online courses, the self-paced versions of them. And there's new ones. There's 4 or 5 new ones coming this year as well, including ethics, which is so important. I've been hammered for ethics. Everybody's asking me for ethics, so I am doing things on ethics. Then 10 brand new live webinars, so we're going to do that. And so that's happening. The first one has already happened. And there's a bonus one coming on the 25th. We're going to do the one on the budget. So that will also be thrown in there. Then we're going to do exclusive content for the first time. So once a quarter, we will have members-only content. So that will be an interview, a podcast, a panel discussion, anything like that. But only members will have access to those. So that alone is a massive amount of value. And we're not just going to have the regular Joes on the show or in those interviews. It will be people that maybe you haven't heard of, people that are doing phenomenal things. It may be access to the series about what we can learn from, which I'll talk about. Then some preferential rates when we do online refreshers, you'll get a third off. Then ComSpace and TaxSpace, if you join for the first time as a new user and you are a member of Ignite, you'll get 10% off for the first 12 months. Then on Profile Me, and I'm also happy to say that my Profile Me has been updated. So you can go to propulsion.co.za/portal and go check out the new look. So it is now in line with Propulsion. That was still on the VCF thing. But if you join Profile Me, which you definitely should, then you'll get a free QR code, which normally you would have to pay for. So that'll be thrown in there for free, mahala, and with compliments of Ignite. All right, so, and then more benefits to follow, as I said, some amazing things that's coming with content and things that are going to blow your mind, and that's going to be just so valuable. I can't even, explain it enough. So I'm very happy. I'm having meetings like even late into the evenings to get these things done. And there's really some amazing things that are coming. So really look out for that. So already 21,000 and something rand in value at the moment. It's not even including the things that are coming. So just quickly again, if you pay annually in advance, that is the cheapest way. And even when we add on the new things in June, you're not going to pay more. You're not going to pay extra. If you join now and you pay the 3,600, you are a member and you get whatever we throw into the pot this year, everything included. The price doesn't go up. And we've reduced this by 1,300 Rand from the previous time. So when we started, it was 4,900. Now it's only 3,600. The monthly, if you decide to commit monthly for 12 months, you pay monthly, but it'll be for 12 months. That's 400 Rand a month. It used to be 450, I think. And then the other one is 500 if you want to go month to month, but then you need to give us 30-day notice to cancel. So there is no firm commitment on that. So that then works out to 500 Rand a month. We still have the option for supervision. So if you are under supervision for all your categories, not just, oh, you decided you're going to do short term and now you're under supervision for short, no. Like if you're new to the industry and you're under supervision for all your license categories, then you qualify for even further reduced. So then it's 2,400 Rand a year, it's 250 Rand a month, and 350 Rand a month. So it's a lot cheaper because that content is not only for CPD, it is there to really help you build a business that will be sustainable going into the future. So yeah, so on Monday we'll launch it. You're welcome we'll definitely send out an email and a WhatsApp and all of those good things. You'll be able to sign up online, go through the process. It's just your detail, and then you choose the option that you want, and then you accept the terms and conditions, make the payment, and it's done. Then it takes us about another day just to get you set up on the other systems. But then you're ready to go, and everything else will happen immediately. You also get things like a Clifton Strengths Finder code and a couple of other things, so you can check out the site when the page goes live on Monday morning. If you want to join the notification squad, you can go to subscribepage.com/IgniteZA 2021. But we are going to send an email to the entire email base. So if you're not on the email list, you can go and subscribe here. All right, so that is sort of that. So let me just quickly do the wrap. So this morning we had the news from David Kopp at the FBI. I think it was very valuable because we were talking about the new immigration things. We were talking about SONA and some other stuff. So very important. You're welcome to go back and watch it again. Then we had Norma talking about, are you comfortable with discomfort? Could you be comfortable with discomfort, and why discomfort is actually necessary for us to move forward and to do all of that. So very important, a very valuable session. And then I spoke about staying connected, which I think serves us well in our personal lives as well as our businesses. And then we did the wrap. Alrighty, so that is my story for this morning. I just want to say thank you very much for being here. I see my friend Mark down in Australia has also been here and said hi. There's a whole host of you, so I can maybe just quickly run through. We've got Mark Bullock. Good morning, Mark. Yaku says, don't panic. We're just a minute late, but here we are. Good morning. Ntapu said hello. Good morning. Really enjoy. Sandra, good morning. We've got Mark, as I said, down in Melbourne. So hello, Mark. And then Govendra, good morning. Khomotso, good morning. Adrian, thank you all for being here. Belated good morning. Yes, Razan, rather late than never. Rihanna, very nice to see you. Rihanna from the FBI. Good morning, Rihanna. Vulidzani, Gloria, you were here last time as well. Thank you very much for saying hi. Khomotso, oh, wow, that's powerful, Francois. The message for all people. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I deeply appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you for being a part of the show. I will see you next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic